The question of Iran's regional influence is a persistent one, often framed by the perception that any direct confrontation is unwinnable. This perception shapes much of the discourse around the nation's complex geopolitical standing. In this episode, we're going to move beyond that simplistic view and examine what winning truly means in the context of Iran. It's a multifaceted concept, far beyond a simple military victory, and understanding its nuances is crucial. We'll explore the current geopolitical landscape, touching on the key actors involved and their often competing interests. Understanding who is playing what role is essential to grasping the dynamics at play. To do this, we'll delve into historical parallels and case studies, drawing lessons from past interventions and conflicts that offer valuable insights into the enduring challenges of engaging with Iran. Let's start by looking back. Iran has a long history of interactions and sometimes conflicts with external powers. Consider the Anglo-Soviet invasion during World War II. While it was a strategic move to secure oil supplies and prevent Nazi influence, it also serves as a case study in occupation and the complex aftermath it leaves behind. Then there's the devastating Iran-Iraq War from 1980 to 1988. This 8-year conflict inflicted immense human and economic costs on both nations, yet it concluded without a clear victor, highlighting the futility of protracted conventional warfare in the region. The 1979 revolution itself was a seismic internal shift that fundamentally altered Iran's relationship with the world, leading to new geopolitical alignments and escalating tensions with certain global powers. These historical interventions, whether overt or covert, offer critical lessons. They often lead to unintended consequences, strengthening resolve rather than achieving desired outcomes, and underscore the difficulty of imposing external will on a complex, resilient society. Let's rewind further to the 19th and early 20th centuries. The era of the Great Game saw Britain and Russia vie for influence in Iran, turning the country into a chessboard for their imperial ambitions. This period is a prime example of how external powers can manipulate internal politics. The concept of proxy conflicts and spheres of influence was central to this rivalry. Neither Britain nor Russia sought outright annexation, but rather to control Iran's foreign policy and economic resources through indirect means, often supporting competing factions within Iran. This historical geopolitical rivalry profoundly shaped Iran's internal political landscape and its external relations for decades, creating a legacy of suspicion towards foreign interference that resonates even today. The echoes of the Great Game are undeniably relevant to modern-day regional power struggles. The methods may have evolved, but the underlying dynamic of external powers seeking to exert influence through proxies and by leveraging internal divisions remains a constant. Following the 1979 revolution, Iran's relationship with the West, particularly the United States, entered a new and often confrontational phase. The U.S. Embassy hostage crisis, lasting 444 days, had profound and lasting implications, shaping perceptions and policies for years to come. Economic sanctions have become a primary tool of international pressure against Iran. Their impact on Iran's society and its foreign policy is undeniable, often leading to hardship for ordinary citizens, while also galvanizing nationalist sentiment. International organizations and multilateral pressure have also played a role, attempting to mediate disputes, enforce agreements, and apply diplomatic leverage. However, their effectiveness is often limited by the geopolitical interests of member states. This brings us to a critical question. Did these sanctions and international pressures constitute a form of winning, or were they merely tools of containment? The lack of a decisive military victory suggests the latter, with sanctions serving more to constrain than to conquer. So, what does victory even mean when dealing with a nation like Iran? Can military might alone achieve a decisive outcome against a determined state with a strong sense of national identity and significant regional influence? We've seen that coercive diplomacy and economic sanctions, while powerful tools, have their limits. They can inflict pain and pressure, but rarely lead to a clear-cut victory in the traditional sense. Often, they breed resentment and stoke resistance. Understanding Iran's ideological resilience and its deeply rooted national identity is paramount. Any strategy that fails to account for these factors is likely to be ineffective in the long run. Perhaps we need to explore alternative definitions of success. Could winning mean achieving regional stability, fostering de-escalation, or brokering negotiated settlements rather than seeking outright capitulation? These are crucial questions to consider. It's vital to consider the Iranian perspective. Iran has developed significant asymmetric warfare capabilities and a strategy of resistance that has proven effective in deterring direct aggression and prolonging conflicts. The role of popular support and nationalistic sentiment cannot be overstated. These factors can significantly bolster a nation's ability to withstand external pressure and sustain prolonged periods of tension or conflict. History shows that external pressure, rather than breaking a nation's will, can sometimes strengthen internal resolve. It can unify a population against a perceived common enemy, making the objective of winning through coercion even more elusive. This leads to the concept of muddling through, a state of ongoing tension and managed conflict, rather than a decisive win or loss. For Iran, this has often been a successful strategy for survival and maintaining its regional influence. Synthesizing the historical evidence and contemporary analysis, it becomes clear that the notion of a traditional military victory against Iran is highly questionable, if not entirely unrealistic. Revisiting our initial question, can the war in Iran be won? The answer, based on historical precedent and the nature of the conflict, leans heavily towards no in the conventional sense. This suggests a critical need for a shift in strategic thinking. Instead of aiming for an elusive victory, the focus should perhaps be on managing conflict, de-escalating tensions, and fostering pathways towards greater regional stability. Ultimately, understanding Iran requires moving beyond simplistic notions of winning and losing. It demands a nuanced approach that acknowledges history, respects national identity, and prioritizes long-term stability for the sake of regional and global security.